Welcome back to part 2 of the explanation video for the 2023 Opportunity Class Thinking Skills exam, containing worked solutions for questions 16 to 30. Starting with 16. Anna, Nina, Veronica and Timur sit at a square table which has 4 wooden blocks arranged on its top. The types of block are shown below. So here we have the table and we have our 4 shapes here. Let's start by identifying what each of these 4 shapes are. So this first shape here is a curved cone. We'll call it a circular cone. We'll call the second one a cube, the third shape a cylinder, and the fourth shape a pointed cone. Now that that is done, we can read the next part of the question. The friends sit at a table as shown in this view from above. So we have Timur facing inwards here, we have Nina facing inwards this way, Veronica and Anna. So all friends will have a different perspective when looking into the table. One of the friends has the following view. So they have this shape on the left-hand side and this shape on the right. So our job now when answering this question, which one of the friends has the view shown above, we need to find which of the 4 friends has this shape on their left and this shape on their right. We can start by identifying this shape. So which shape will create this kind of side perspective? So it's not going to be the pointed cone because it fails to have that point at the top, the apex is missing. So it's not going to be the pointed shape, but it is going to be this curved circular cone here. That means we need to find the friend that has the curved circular cone on the left and the cube on the right. So which friend has this shape on the left and this on the right? Let's take a look. If we start with Nina, Nina has a curved shape on her left, but we have to remember that this is shown from the view above. So these shapes are from above, but this perspective is a side-on perspective, so as if you were sitting at this table. So Nina has a circle shape on the left and a 2-circled shape on the right. This 2-circled shape will be matched to this curved cone here because it has one circle smaller than the other when we look at it from the top perspective. So Nina actually has this curved circle shape, curved cone shape on her right, which is not what we want because we need that shape to be on our left. Let's try Veronica. Veronica has 2 circles. This circle again is our cylinder, and this pointed circle shape is our cone, where this apex again makes that point shape. So we know our answer is not going to be Veronica based on the fact that the cube is missing and she has the pointed cone on her left, whereas we want the circular cone on our left. So it's not Veronica. Let's try Anna. Anna has a cube on her left, so when Anna sits in facing this way, she will have a cube on her left and the pointed cone on her right. That again does not match what we're looking for because the cube must be on the right, whereas Anna's cube is on the left. So it's not going to be Anna, and let's try Timur. Timur, when facing inwards, this shape is on his left and this shape is on his right. Again, we've already talked about this shape with the 2 circles being the circular cone and this shape being the cube, which is perfect. So Timur matches this view. He has the circular cone on his left and the cube on his right, meaning that the best answer for 16 is C. Moving on to question 17. To win a soccer match, you have to score more goals than the other team. Grant Valley High School plays soccer in a competition with a group of other schools. They are awarded points for winning and drawing, so let's write that down. For winning/drawing, they get points, so points, but no points for losing. So lose, no points. 0 points. The team with the most points at the end of the season comes top of the competition. At the end of the season, Grant Valley High School has sadly failed to score a single goal. So remember, even if they draw with another team, they get points. But if they lose, they get 0 points. So if this group, if this school, Grant Valley High School, has failed to score even a single goal, that means they have lost all games, or they may have drawn games with 0. So even though they failed to score a single goal, they may still have points if both teams in the match scored 0. So Grant Valley High School might have got 0, and another high school might have also got 0 goals in that game, but because they both drawed, they may have still gotten points. So let's take a look. Which one of the following must also be true? Grant Valley High School came bottom of the competition. Now this we don't know, because even though they scored 0 goals, they may have still gotten points for drawing 0-0 with another team. So they may not have been at the bottom. We don't know. Could be A. Let's draw an arrow. It could be A. Let's look at B. Grant Valley High School lost more matches than any of the other teams. We don't know. Maybe another team, maybe Sunset Beach High School had also failed to score a single goal. So it could be B. Oh, sorry, it could not be B, because another school might have lost more matches than this particular school as well. So it might not be B. Option C. Grant Valley High School won fewer matches than any of the other teams. Grant Valley High School won fewer matches. This could be true, but the opposite could also be true. They may have won more matches than all of the other teams. Grant Valley High School won fewer matches than any of the other teams. Sorry. So even though they may have not won more, there might have been another team in the exact same situation as this school team, and both of those teams may have won 0 matches, basically. So let's say it can't be C, because another school might be in the same situation as Grant Valley. Let's look at D. Grant Valley High School failed to win any matches. So this one links into C, won fewer matches than any of the other teams. But it's true, because we know that they scored 0 goals. If they scored 0 goals in the entire season, that means in each game that they played each game without ever scoring a single goal, meaning the highest they could have performed is a draw. They could have drawn with other teams who also scored 0 goals, but they would not have won these games. They would have drawn them, not won. So D is actually going to be our best answer, because this is true. They failed to win, so they won 0 matches because they did not score any goals at all. So the best answer for 17 is D. Moving on to question 18. The students in Tani's class must choose either Jacob or Nicole to represent their class in the school chess competition. Jacob won 3 of his last 14 games in the chess club. So let's write 3 over 14 for Jacob, but we must remember that this is in this chess club. He may be playing in a chess club outside, in a different country, we don't know. 3 of the 14 in this particular chess club. Similarly, Nicole won 11 of her last 12 games in this particular club. Tani says, Nicole has won a higher fraction of her recent games at the club. Yes, so at this club. So she must be the better player. She should represent our class. Although Tani is making a valid statement, it's important to recognize that she may have performed better in this particular club, in this school club, but Jacob could be better outside. Maybe if they played in a different school club, maybe Jacob would be better. So it's not fair to just look at these fractions, because these fractions only talk about this particular club. We don't know about the performance of Jacob and Nicole in different chess environments. Let's take a look here. Which one of the following sentences shows that Tani has made a mistake? A says, there may be another player in the class who is better than Nicole. That is true, but it says if we read the box is always true, and the box says they must either choose Jacob or Nicole. So A is not going to be any good of an answer because we have to pick someone from Jacob and Nicole. So even though there may be another player in the class who is better than Nicole, we need to talk about Nicole. B says, Jacob might have played against better opponents in his games. This one might be true. Because what if Nicole played games against very, very beginner players who had never played chess before? So she may have won 11 games out of 12 games, but she might have played just beginners. Jacob might have played extremely talented and confident players, but he still won 3 of those games. So we don't know about the difficulty of their opponents. Difficulty of their opponents, we don't know. They may have played different opponents of different strengths. So it could be B. Let's look at C. Nicole has not played as many games as Jacob. This is correct because we have her information about her last 12 and the last 14, but it does say the word last. So Nicole may have played 50 games and Jacob only 14. But we have stats for Jacob's last 14 and Nicole's last 20. So this might be wrong. Nicole may have played more games, if anything. So it's not going to be C because of the word last there. They may have played lots of other games outside of the chess club. This is true. Both of these players, Jacob and Nicole, may have played games outside of the chess club, but without knowing whether they played well or poorly in these outside clubs, we can't do anything with this statement. It needs to be related to this club. So option B says Jacob might have played against better opponents. So our best answer as to why Tani is wrong, so Tani says Nicole must play. She has more percentage 1, so her fraction is higher than Jacob's fraction. She must represent our class is what Tani is saying. But what if Nicole played very easy players and Jacob actually played very difficult players and still managed to win 3? So our best answer is B because we don't know the difficulty of Jacob and Nicole's opponents. Moving on to question 19. In a school for young magicians, the weekly timetable is the following. So we have our 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We've got our times, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and we've got the activities, the classes that these students are doing. The young magicians need their magic wand for 3 classes. They need their wand for spells, they need it for charms, and they need it for herbs. So we can make the assumption that the other classes, such as stars and sky or potions and poisons, we don't need the wand for that. This week, the classes on Thursday are cancelled due to a competition. So let's get rid of that. Sorry, did I say Wednesday? This week, the classes on Wednesday are cancelled due to a competition. So getting rid of Wednesday, we have Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday left. For how many classes do the young magicians need their wands this week? So let's take a look and add up where our spells, charms, and herbs are. Let's start by circling all our spells. 1 spell. Wednesday's spell doesn't count, and no spells on Thursday. Let's do charms. No charms on Monday. 1 charm on Tuesday, and no charms on Thursday. So we've done both of these. Let's do herbs. No herbs on Monday. 1 herb on Tuesday, and 1 herb on Thursday. So when adding this up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 circled. So for 4 classes, for how many students do the young magicians need their wands? For 4 classes. So the best answer for question 19 is C. Moving on to question 20. Chris is making a sandwich for his younger sister Sally. Sally knows that Chris likes puzzles, so she challenges him to arrange the 4 ingredients in her sandwich in a specific way. So we know that Sally has 4 ingredients in her sandwich and that Chris is going to arrange these ingredients for her. She tells him that the lettuce, L for lettuce, must not touch the mayonnaise. So the lettuce must not touch the mayonnaise, M for mayonnaise. The cheese must not touch the lettuce. And the mayonnaise must go directly on top of the chicken. So let's actually change this. Let's say cheese and let's say chicken. If Chris makes the sandwich following Sally's rules, which ingredient will be on top? So here are our 4 ingredients. We have L for lettuce, M for mayonnaise, cheese and chicken. We need to just figure out what ingredient will be on the top. So let's have 4 lines for our 4 ingredients here and start. M, mayonnaise, must be on top of the chicken. Let me first fix up here by saying directly. So the mayonnaise must be directly on top, not just on top, but directly touching. So that means that somewhere in my 4 here, I'm going to have M just above my chicken. Let's read the other. L must not touch M. My lettuce must not touch my mayonnaise. So that means my lettuce cannot be here because that would mean it would touch. So my lettuce must be on the bottom, underneath my chicken. And what is our final one? Our cheese must not touch the lettuce. So our cheese can't go here because it would touch, but it can go at the top. So that means we have cheese on the top, we have mayo in the middle there with chicken, followed by lettuce. Double checking again. Lettuce must not touch the mayonnaise. That's good. Cheese must not touch the lettuce. Cheese and the lettuce are far away. Good job. And the mayonnaise must be directly on top of the chicken. Perfect. So, which ingredient will be on top? Cheese. Our best answer is A for 20. Cheese. Moving on to question 21. A vet is talking about baby animals. She says, in the case of wild animals, it's best to avoid touching them. But for kittens, puppies, and other pets at home, careful handling is important to make sure they're developing properly. So this vet, talking about baby animals, says baby wild animals should not be touched. So let's write that down. Wild, no touch. But for kittens, puppies, and other pets at home, so let's say home baby animals, should be touched. Should be touched carefully. To develop properly. So we've summed up the vet's claim, and now we can go through our options. Which one of the statements, if true, best supports the vet's claim? Some people have pets at home that were once wild animals. So although this may be true, some people might have a pet bird now that's at home, but it was once a wild bird. That could be true, but it doesn't really support this claim that wild animals should not be touched and home animals should be touched. So it's not going to be A. Let's look at B. Remember here we're looking at developing properly. So wild animals don't live around people often. Some wild animals don't live at all with people and have no human contact. But pets at home, kittens and puppies and other pets at home, they need to develop properly and get used to human touch because they will be around humans for the majority of their life. So if we read B again, it says, handling puppies and kittens often helps them, so it helps the puppies and kittens to be less afraid of people. This is true. So unlike wild animals, these puppies and kittens at home need to be not afraid of people. They need to be confident around people. And that is going to be achieved with a healthy amount of careful touch and handling. So this is true. This supports the claim, saying that these puppies and kittens are developing properly and being less afraid of people due to this touch. So C says, many people help wild animals by putting out food and water for them. This again could be true, but it does not talk about touch and how that touch develops domestic home animals. So it's not going to be C. D says, handling puppies and kittens is something many people enjoy doing. Again, that's true, but it does not talk about the development of these at-home pets compared to wild pets. So it's not going to be D. Sorry, not sure why we've circled it. Our best answer for 21 is B. Moving on to question 22. A wall is decorated using a set of identical tiles, but some of the tiles were rotated before being added to the wall. A section of the wall made up of 4 complete tiles is shown below. So there's our answer there, 4 complete tiles. So all I'm going to do is make a split here and show you where those 4 tiles are. So we can see here that some of these tiles were rotated. Perfect. So we just are trying to find which pattern it could be that matches the rotation. So we've always got 2 diagonal corner bits. So we've got this corner and a middle piece. So a corner and a middle piece with a diagonal. This one does not have a middle piece. Neither does this one or this one. So each shape, each tile must have a middle piece, a centerpiece shaded. And B, C, and D don't have that centerpiece shaded. So our best answer for 22 is going to be A. And if we went ahead and saw the rest of the shape and fit it in, we'll slowly see that it fits for each tile, just rotated. So the best kind of clue to find the answer quickly would be that middle centerpiece there. Moving on to question 23. Peter needs to return a book to Fiona, but he will not see her today. However, he knows that the following meetings will happen. Peter will meet Zhang at 9, Sam will meet Tim at 10, Tim will meet Ursula at 11, and Ursula will meet Fiona at 12. Which one of the following additional meetings would enable Fiona to receive the book today? So this question is going to use the assumption that Peter is going to give this book to someone, and then that person that Peter meets will give this book to someone else, and that person will give the book to someone else, and eventually the book that Peter gave to all of these people will end up with Fiona. So let's take a look. We should start by drawing a diagram of who Peter meets first. So let's use this bottom space here. Peter is going to meet Z. Z for Zhang. Let's fix up that arrow. So Peter is meeting Zhang at 9. So this is going to be, doesn't say AM or PM, but we might just assume that's going to be 9 AM. Sam will meet Tim at 10. So at 10 AM, we know that Sam will meet Tim. Tim will meet Ursula at 11. Oh, I've written it wrong. That's right, U for Ursula, and 11. And Ursula will meet Fiona at 12. Perfect. So as you can see, we've got a very good kind of pattern going. So, well, at least in this bit here, we can see that S meets T, and then T meets U, and then U meets F. But we just don't have a connection between Peter and Sam. So all we need to do is somehow get this book from Zhang to Sam. Now, how do we do that? So although if we wanted to keep this flow going, we would somehow want to make Zhang meet Sam, but we can't do that. So let's go through our options. Fiona will meet Sam at 9:30. if Fiona meets Sam at 9:30, that would be here. At 9:30 a.m., Fiona would meet Sam. But the book is still with Zhang. So there's no use of having a meeting between Fiona and Sam at 9. So it's not going to be A. B says Fiona will meet Tim at 11:30. So here at 11:30, Fiona wants to meet Tim. But the book is actually still stuck here with Zhang. So even though Fiona has made this 11:30 a.m. meeting, she's not going to get the book because the book is still with Zhang, and Zhang has not met with any of these other people, Sam or Tim or Ursula. So it can't be B either. Let's look at C. Zhang will meet Tim at 10:30. Now this is good. We're talking about Zhang because Zhang does have the book. Peter gave the book to Zhang in the 9 o'clock meeting. So Zhang will meet Tim at 10:30. If I come here and say at 10:30 a.m., Zhang will meet Tim. This is perfect because Peter gave the book to Zhang. Now Zhang at 10:30 is going to give it to Tim. Tim will give it to Ursula, and Ursula will give it to Fiona. That's perfect. Let's make sure D is not correct. Zhang will meet Ursula at 12:30. So if Zhang met Ursula at 12:30, that's no use. So even if Zhang did meet Ursula, Ursula was meeting Fiona at 12. Sorry, this would have been PM. There's no point because Zhang would have been half an hour late. So that's why our best answer for 23 is C. Moving on to question 24. Last winter, Mr. Murray planted 20 crocus plants, but only 5 of them grew. So he planted 20, but only 5 grew. After some research, Mr. Murray found that there were 2 possible reasons for this. The winter may have been too warm, as crocuses need cold weather to grow. Okay, so they need cold weather to grow. Possums may have dug up the crocus plants for food before they could fully grow. That's also the 2 reasons. So 1 is that the winter was too warm, and 2 is that possums have dug up the plants before they could grow. Now Mr. Murray says, I checked the weather reports and the average temperature during the winter was indeed higher than normal. That must be the reasons. So let's look at the modality of the word. That must be the reason why so many of the crocuses didn't grow, so I shouldn't blame the possums. This box is true. Whatever is in this box is always true, and it says that there are 2 possible reasons. But Mr. Murray is projecting the second reason, but that's a valid reason, and he does not want to agree with it. So let's find Mr. Murray's mistake. Which one of the following sentences showed that Mr. Murray has made a mistake? The crocuses may have been affected by both warm weather and by possums. This is easily the best answer because the box is always true and the box claims that there's 2 reasons, the weather and the possums. And option A talks about the weather and the possums. So our best answer is A, but let's go through the other options and see why it's not B, C, or D. B says, the warmer winter may have allowed possums to find other food sources. That actually supports Mr. Murray's answer. It doesn't show he has made a mistake. So if the winter was warmer, possums may have found other food, not dug up the crocus plants, and the only reason for why so little crocuses grew would be the warm weather. So that one supports it. It doesn't show that Mr. Murray has made a mistake. C says possums may also like to eat other flowering plants such as tulips. That's true, and that again does not show Mr. Murray's mistake. It supports Mr. Murray, as it says the possums didn't eat the crocuses, they were eating other things such as tulips. D says possums may only dig up crocus plants to eat if they cannot find anything else. That could be true. But again, it doesn't show that Mr. Murray has made a mistake, but rather supports that the possums didn't eat his particular crocus plants. So our best answer for 24 is A. Question 25. The following 4 diagrams show pairs of objects. For the objects in each pair, the scale is the same. The height of the car is 1.5 meters, so let's annotate our diagram. The height of the car is, I might do it on the other side just to keep it all in the same box, is 1.5 meters. The person is 2 meters. The swing is 2.5 meters. And the farm shed is 3 meters tall. Okay, which one of the following is the tallest? So for this question, it was quite an interesting question. You had to estimate how many height lengths the bigger object had compared to the smaller object. So for each of these bigger objects, we had to see them in relation to how many times taller they were, because we're looking for tallest, not biggest. So if I just erase these annotations, let's start with the house. We can estimate about a third, so that the car is 1/3 of the height of this house. And 1.5 times 3 is equal to 4.5. So the house would be 4.5 meters tall. Let's look at the dinosaur. This dinosaur is about 2.5, maybe 2.5 times this human. So 2 times 2.5 equals 5 meters. So this dinosaur is 1/2 meter bigger than the house. Let's look at the swing and the tree. So we have to estimate how many times this tree is bigger than the swing, is taller, than the swing. So I've estimated about 5 height lengths. So I'm going to say 2.5 times 5. And when we multiply that together, we get 12.5 meters. So already, this is bigger than our 4.5 meter house and bigger than our 5 meter dinosaur. Let's look at D now. I'm going to estimate that this truck is about 2 height lengths of this farm shed. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6 meters. Which one of the following is the tallest? 4.5, 5 meters, 12.5, and 6 meters. My tallest, or my highest number here, is the tree at 12.5 meters. So the best answer for question 25 is C, the tree. Question 26. During a science lesson, the teacher says that the most effective way to reduce water waste at home is to make sure that your taps are not leaking. Let's see. So we have most effective way to reduce water waste at home is to make sure that your taps are not leaking. Which one of these statements, if true, best supports that teacher's claim? Let's look at option A. Option A says, a huge amount of water is wasted in people's homes every year. This could be true, but that water might be wasted through other things that don't require a tap. It could be swimming pools that waste the water. It could be backyard gardens that waste the water. And those things don't need taps. They use other water systems. So it's not necessarily A, because it's not supporting the claim that stopping taps from leaking will reduce water waste. But it could be a true fact. Let's look at B. It is very easy to fix taps that are leaking. We don't know. We might have to call in a plumber because there could be a big issue with a tap that we don't know how to fix. It might not be B. We don't know how easy it is. Let's look at C. Leaking taps are the biggest source of water waste in households. Now this supports this teacher's claim that the most effective way to reduce water waste is to fix the taps. She's not saying to get rid of the swimming pools or to get rid of the dishwasher or to stop using water in our gardens. She's saying, or this teacher, was saying that the most effective way is to make sure we check our taps. So leaking taps are the biggest source that would support? Let's look at D. There are many different ways to reduce water waste at home. Now this does not support this particular teacher's perspective, because this teacher is saying the most effective way, and really the only way we should be using, is to make sure we check our taps. So they're not really concerned with the many different ways. So our best answer for question 26 is C. Question 27. Idris is trying to solve a puzzle. He has 4 boxes labeled W, X, Y, and Z. He knows that there is a different amount of treasure in each box. He has 4 clues about the boxes, but we don't have the 4th clue. So we have clues 1, 2, and 3. After reading all 4 clues, Idris is able to put the chests in order of how much treasure they contain. So we have 4 boxes, W, X, Y, and Z. Which one of the following could be the 4th clue? So our job is to use these 3 clues and figure out the order, and then use the final, make up the final clue to fix with our order. So, clue 1 says, box X contains more treasure than box Z. Let's put an arrow this way and say more treasure, less treasure down here. I'll read clue 1 again. Box X contains more treasure. Box X contains more treasure than box Z. Box W contains more treasure than box Y. I'm not sure whether box W should go here or here, so I might leave it like that, or I'll get rid of it and move to clue 3 and come back to clue 2. Clue 3 says box W contains more treasure than box X. Okay, so box W contains more treasure, and then going back to box 2, box W contains more treasure than box Y. But Y could be here, Y could be here, or Y could be here. We don't know. So we don't have any information about box Y in relation to boxes X and Z. Which one of the following could be the 4th clue? Box Y contains more treasure than box X. So that would mean that these 2 Y's go, and that this is our answer. That could be true. That would help us a lot with the order, because we currently don't know which Y position to take. So option A is looking really good. Could be our answer. Let's look at B. Box X contains more treasure than box Y. So that means we would get rid of that, but we still have 2 Y options, which is not good. So in this setup, box X contains more treasure than box Y. That's true. But we don't want 2 Y options. That's not good. So let's get rid of that. Best answer is still option A. Box W contains more treasure than box Z. We already know this. From our first 3 clues, we already know that. So it's not going to be C or B from before. And option D says box Y contains more treasure than box Z. Box Y contains more treasure than box Z. That means this one would go, but we still have 2 Y options, which is not good. It doesn't give us a clear answer. So that means A is our best answer, because if box Y contains more treasure than box X, that means we get rid of this one, we get rid of this one, and we have a perfect order. So if I fixed it up, our perfect order would be Z, X, Y, W. So our best answer for question 27 is A. Moving on to question 28. An unusual dice. So our usual dice is that 6-sided dice, but this one is unusual. So an unusual dice is labeled such that the numbers of dots on opposing faces add up to 5. One of the faces has no dots. No 2 faces have the same number of dots as each other. Which diagram shows a possible view of the dice? So, one of these, we can see here, one face on this die and here has 0 spots. And we know that each opposing face, pair of opposing faces, they add up to 5. So that means the other face is going to be 5. So the number that matches with 0 would be 5. So it can't be this one, because in option A, the 5 and the 0 are next to each other. They are adjacent instead of opposite. If A was the right answer, this would have to be something else. This might be 3 or something, because the 0 would be underneath in the surface we can't see. So it's not going to be option A. Let's look at B. We can see the 5 dots, and we can't see the 0, which is good. It means that the 0 could potentially be underneath here, this face here. So it could be B. Let's leave it and go back to C. C could be correct as well. So if this is 0, the 5 could be this face here that we can't see. That could be true. C could be correct. If we look at D, we don't have the 0 or the 5. But remember that this one, 4, must match with the back there. And the 3 here must match with the bottom. And the 2 must match with the back, meaning that at least one of these 3 faces must have either been the blank one, so one of these faces must have been this, or must have been the 5. So because neither of these are the 0 or the 5, it's not going to be D either. So our options now are B and C. Let's use the parts of the question that we haven't touched yet. So we know that one of the faces has no doubts. We know that it says no 2 faces have the same number of dots as each other. Okay, let's take a look. So if I see here, we know that opposing pairs add up to 5. So this one down here, the face that we can't see, but just here, if this was 4, then shouldn't the bottom be 1? So that means that the bottom would be 1, but this one's already 1. So that would be a repeat. It says no 2 faces have the same number of dots, but we would have the same number of dots on the bottom. We would have 1 dot on the bottom and 1 dot here. So it's not going to be 1, and our best answer for 28 is B. Moving on to question 29. So we have an advertisement, and it says, anyone who loves musicals will love the new animated musical Karimba. Tina says, Connor adores Karimba, so that tells me he's a big fan of musicals. Just because Connor likes Karimba doesn't mean he likes all musicals, because Karimba is one particular musical, but he might not be a big fan of all of them. So let's take a look. So this is what we mean when we talk about one-way logical patterns. So anyone who loves musicals, if someone loves musicals, they will love Karimba. But that doesn't mean someone that loves Karimba, let's put a cross through it, will not love all musicals. We can't say that. Just because they like this particular musical doesn't mean they'll like all of them. But if someone loves musicals, they will love Karimba. So which one of the following sentences shows that Tina has made a mistake? Karimba may have won the award for Best Musical. This could be true, but it does not kind of weaken Tina's argument. It doesn't say that Tina has made a mistake. B says, Karimba may appeal to people who do not normally like musicals. This is true. So Tina, when I say this is true, it means it supports that Tina has made a mistake. So B supports that Tina has made a mistake because it says that Connor might not like most musicals. Connor, maybe this person here, might not normally like musicals. But he might still adore this particular musical. So that's, yeah. Karimba may appeal to people who do not normally like musicals. That's looking like a good answer. because Tina says Connor adores karimba, so he must love all musicals. That's not true, and that's why B shows that Tina has made a mistake. Let's go through other options as well. C says karimba may be Connor's favorite movie. That's true. I mean, could be true, but it doesn't. This statement doesn't show that Tina has made a mistake. It kind of makes a claim that could be true. And if we look at D, karimba may have changed the kind of things Connor likes to watch. That's true. Could be true. So Connor may have not normally liked musicals before, but maybe he will like musicals from now. But again, D does not show Tina's mistake. D actually supports what Tina is saying and says he may be becoming a fan of musicals. So our best answer for 29 is B, because Connor might be this person who does not normally like musicals, but he might just like karimba. But Tina thinks that if he likes karimba, he likes all of them. So B is our best answer for 29. Question 30. In the first round of a tennis competition, every player plays 5 matches. To qualify for the second round, a player must win at least 4 of their matches. So let's say this. In the first round, every player plays 5. To qualify for the second round, a player must win at least 4. So 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 are the only acceptable combinations to qualify for the second round. Okay. Darren and Monaro have both won all of their first 3 matches. So they are currently sitting at this fraction, 3 out of 3. But we don't know. They could get 3 out of 5. They could get 4 out of 5. They could also get 5 out of 5. But if they win no more matches, they might get stuck at the 3 out of 5. We don't know yet. So, they are about to play each other. Ooh, there are no draws in tennis. So, if they are about to play each other, that means that 5 out of 5 will not be a possible combination for the loser, because someone will win this game and someone will lose. Meaning, say this is Darren and this is Monaro. Let's change the color just to make it a little bit clearer for them. So if this is Darren and this is Monaro, and let's do Monaro first. So he's currently at 3 out of 5. If he wins this game with Darren, he's currently at 3 out of 3. If he wins this current game with Darren, he'll be at 4 out of 4. And he could win the last one, or he might lose his last game. So he might get 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5, depending on if he wins his last game. For Darren, he is currently at 3 out of 3. And if he loses the next game with Monaro, he will be at 3 out of 4. But he might lose his next game after that and be 3 out of 5. Or he might win his next game, but he will still, there's always going to be one person who does not get 5 out of 5. So Alyssa is saying at least one of Darren and Monaro will qualify for the second round. To qualify for the second round, they need to get a fraction of at least 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. That's true. So one of the characters, Alyssa's correct. Either Darren or Monaro will qualify because one of them will get 4 out of 4 or 3 out of 4. So these fractions here. That's correct. Let's see what Emily says. Emily says Darren and Monaro can't both qualify for the second round. So that means when we get with these questions, C is never going to be our right answer because Alyssa and Emily are saying opposite things. Darren and Monaro can't both qualify for the second round. If we look at Emily, she's saying that both players will be stuck at 3. But that's not true because at least one player will win this next match. Emily would be correct if Darren and Monaro were not playing each other. But because they are, because Darren versus Monaro is a match, that means one person is going to have at least 4 out of 4 games and one person will qualify because they need 4 out of something games to qualify. So our best answer would be A. Alyssa is correct and Emily is wrong. So only Alyssa is correct for question 30. And with that, we have reached the end of the explanation video for the 2023 Opportunity Class Thinking Skills exam. Please again be informed that you can find a copy of the official paper up on the New South Wales Education website.